What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Being Beautifully Honest podcast. And I wanted to ask the question about Nene Leakes and Kandi Burress and their feud that they're sort of having out in social media right now regarding the possibility of spinoffs, and if there is someone that's blocking Nene Leakes from having a number of spinoffs like she feels like other people have had the opportunity to do. Do you feel like she is a victim, or do you feel that she's playing the victim? Now, this story I got from Us Weekly, and the story is Kandi Burress fires back at RHOA co-star Nene Leakes, presumes shade about spinoffs, and she says, "I stay in my lane." So they say Andy Cohen is going to have a lot to cover on the upcoming reunion, and that they were seemingly exchanging words on social media after Nene seemingly suggested that Burress is the reason she doesn't have her own series on Bravo. And sorry, I'm laughing, guys, but I'm just going to read a little bit and then I'm just going to share my thoughts, and then I would like to get your thoughts on it. So apparently Nene was being interviewed, and she says, "I think me not having my own show has been due to certain people not wanting me to have a show," the Glee alum told Tamar Braxton in a YouTube video. "I have gone to Bravo about different show ideas. Why only one person gets to do a show every season after our show is weird." Leaks appear to be referencing Burress's many short-lived spin-off shows, which include The Candy Factory, Candy's Wedding, Candy's Ski Trip, Escape, Still Kicking It, and Candy Coated Nights. While Leaks denied that she was referencing to Burress, the singer-songwriter wasn't convinced. So Kandi says on social media, she @s her, so she basically says, "So @Nene Leakes said on her live with @Tamar Braxton that I misunderstood what she said on her YouTube." Burress wrote in a since deleted Instagram post on Wednesday. "Now, I don't know about y'all, but on this video, it sounded like a bunch of hating and blaming of, quote, a certain person they keep giving a show to, end quotes, as to the reason her show ideas aren't happening. Am I tripping? Who is she talking about in this video then? FYI, I do not have the power to stop anyone from doing anything on Bravo." Burress added that the show's support to every project that her co-stars pursue, and she says, "TV, business, or whatever they're doing, I always post for them even if we don't get along." She wrote, "I don't understand the shade towards me. I stay in my lane and I'm not blocking anyone." Burress concluded, "Anyway, Nene, we can discuss this at a reunion, but since you talked about it on your live, I figured I'd help the people get a little clarity on why I feel the way I feel." Now, I'm just going to kind of end the reading of the article there, but Leakes also said that Burress can contact her lawyer. Now, I don't know what that was about, but I was like, what in the world is up with that? Now, listen, I am not someone who dislikes either one of the two. They are both doing well. They're both high-paid stars pretty much on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I used to watch this show from the first season, okay? And I remember a lot of these things like yesterday. And I remember when Kandi Burress was brought on to The Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was season 2. And Nene Leakes was, she was still new to the reality show world. But Kandi Burress, when she came on the show, she was someone who was already famous. Granted, she may not have been someone who was, in the limelight from, the time she got on the show, but she has hits. She has written Grammy award-winning songs for other artists, and she was in a very famous, well-known hit-making group for many years ago. Now, some people have their opinions on whether she can sing or not. That's neither here nor there for me. The fact of the matter is the woman was very successful and she was doing very well in her own right before she came to The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And of course, her star has risen and grown and has gotten more shine since she has been on the show, because the show is a popular show and it's gotten more popular over the years. And she is a pretty likable person on the show. She has been, at least for the most part, and she tends to be one of the fan favorites and, you know, all of those good things. And she's had some things where people are like, gosh, she's just annoying, or she gets on my nerves and stuff like that. I mean, that's just common with anyone when they are exposed for a good period of time. Sometimes people just get tired of you, and they just get tired of some of your ways, tired of some of the things that may have been said or may have been done. But that, you know, really is irrelevant to what Nene Leakes is talking about with this situation, because I agree with Kandi in this situation. I don't believe that Kandi has the power within Bravo to stop anyone from succeeding or to stop anyone from having an opportunity. Just like she said, she was like, I don't have that much power. I might be successful, I may be wealthy, I may be getting those checks hand over fist, which she obviously is, but I don't have the power within Bravo to stop anyone from having a spinoff. Because let's face it, if she had that type of power, she probably would not have wanted to have Portia have the little spinoff that she did have when she was expecting her child, because at that time they were not on good terms. And in actuality, Kandi was really like, I don't want to have anything to do with her. And if she had that much power, she probably would have seen to it that Portia would not have been back on the series, just like Phaedra Parks has not been. And even though Kandi has said, if she comes back, I'm gone, I still don't believe that is the reason why Phaedra Parks is not back on the show right now. I believe that's the powers that be's decision, not so much it's because Kandi does not want her back on the show. But that's just my opinion. How do you guys feel about it? Do you feel that it's because of Kandi that Phaedra Parks is not back on the show at this point? I believe it's possible that she may come back at some point, because let's just face it, she's been gone for a long time. They've given Portia the opportunity to redeem herself and to share her side and to redeem herself and to apologize over and over and over again until she was back in the good graces of Kandi. And we've seen that come to light. We've seen it happen. It took some time, but it definitely did. And even though they still had their little, you know, back and forth stuff regarding different things, they definitely have reconnected. And it may not be like it used to be before all of that stuff went down, but that stuff just tends to be that way anyway. When you have a big falling out with people, especially with women, if you do reconnect, it's hardly ever the same way it used to be like it was before. So is Nene a victim, or is she playing the victim? I just think it's very strange, because Kandi was the one that vouched for Nene to be an opening act for her group Escape when they were doing their tour. And the reason that she did not continue on the tour with them was because of the joke that happened about Nene saying that whoever was the heckler in a show that she was doing stand-up comedy or opening up for other comedians, saying that the heckler, she hoped that she would get the R word by her Uber driver on her way home from the show. That was very controversial at the time, and even though Nene apologized for it and said she wished she never said it and all of this other stuff, the group voted that Nene cannot go on tour with them. They just felt like it was bad press, bad PR, bad for business. They cannot be associated with that, especially in the age of the Me Too movement. So it's like, no, she cannot continue on with them. But Nene, you know, Kandi was on Nene's side, and she actually told Sheree on that season that I didn't think that Nene really meant any harm by it, and I was vouching for her. I wanted her to continue on with us, and Sheree was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not something that you joke about. But Kandi was like, I don't think that it was that big of a deal, and I was, you know, hoping that she could still move forward with us, but my group was saying, no, it can't happen. She cannot. So to see Nene now, even though she didn't call out Kandi and say that Kandi is the one that's blocking her, or she feels is blocking her from the opportunity of having her own spinoff, I do believe that's who she was implying that about, because let's just think about it. Who else is there on the show with her now that has had a number of spinoffs? It definitely has not been Cynthia Bailey. It definitely wasn't Marlo Hampton, because she isn't even a peach holder, so she definitely has not had a spinoff. Portia had one where it was involving her having the baby, and Nene even joked about it and said that, they gave her a multiple part commercial. And don't quote me on that. I know those are not the exact words that she used, but she was pretty much saying that, oh yeah, it wasn't a real spinoff. It was just like a long, it was like a commercial. And that was like, really, Nene? Like, okay. But Kandi has had a number of shows, like I just read from the article. She's had a number of spinoffs. And Bravo would not have given her those opportunities, which, let's just be honest, she may have been the main focal point, but I don't believe that it was 100% because of just Kandi that she got the shows. What was going on around her in her life with regards to her business dealings, her group, her mother, her family, her getting married, those things they thought were interesting and would be draws to get people to come in and watch the shows and get those ratings. And that is what it is all about. I don't really know if anyone wants to watch a show about Nene and her family. And that is not me being nasty or rude about it. Like Nene says sometimes, so nasty and so rude. I'm not being rude about it. I'm just stating that I don't believe that people would really want to see that, because when she was going through what she was going through with her husband on the show, when he was going through his cancer fight, not saying people didn't feel sorry for her, because I do believe people felt her pain and definitely felt for Greg. It was a bit cringeworthy to watch that. Not just because he was fighting a fight with a disease that nobody wants to have to deal with, and it's a very sad state of affairs. Nene wasn't very nice to him. And yeah, we didn't see everything that was going on behind the scenes. And she said, we don't see everything, and we don't see how he was treating her and how he was speaking to her. And he was just not nice, and he was demanding. And, she said a number of different things. But from what we were shown, from what was recorded and what we saw, it was cringeworthy. I mean, she made comments about him not going out with her to happy hour. And the man is like going through chemotherapy and fighting cancer. So it was very cringeworthy. I don't really know if anyone really wants to watch a spinoff show about her and her family, or about her and her businesses, her boutiques. More power to her. Much respect to her business ventures. And I hope that they will be successful and continue to be successful. But I don't really know if anyone really wants to watch that. Nene is someone that can play the victim a great deal. And that's one of the things that I like Nene, but that's one of the things that I don't care for about her personality. And that's not just her, that's anybody. I've never been a fan of people who play the victim and it's all about them. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, even when I've gone through things in my life, it has been so hard for me to talk about the stuff that I've gone through and share the things that I've dealt with. One, because I don't want to be viewed as a victim. Even though I may have been victimized, I don't want to be viewed as a victim. And Nene comes across as a victim in so many different circumstances. She's done it where it involved, when it was several seasons ago, and this is a season when Claudia Jordan was one of the housewives, and they had a therapy session. Now, she wanted the therapist that she said helped her and her husband through their situations to come to the group for therapy. And he told her from the jump, he said, I'm not there to be on your side. I'm there to listen, and I'm going to speak the truth. And I'm just going to call things like it is. And she was like, oh yeah, I trust you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as she felt like he was not on her side, or she felt like he was putting her in check, she was out of there. And she even called him on his license and said, you need to be worried about your license and not worried about me. And that made my mouth drop open. I could not believe that she said that to this man. He is a licensed therapist. So he was like, really, Nene? And he kept trying to reason with her, kept trying to get her to stay and deal with, with the group, with the therapy session. And she was out of there. She did not want to hear anything he or anyone else had to say, because she just felt like everybody was ganging up on her. But I just believe that people were trying to share what their genuine thoughts were. And I mean, Nene is just kind of showing that she doesn't like that. Even in this most recent season, They were on a trip in Greece, and Kandi and Cynthia were going to do role playing where one was going to act like Nene Leakes and the other was going to act like Kenya Moore. And, the two of them have been having it out this season. Nene was not here for it. She was like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I am not sitting here and dealing with this. And so even in a situation like that, she didn't want to see what she felt like was going to be herself being portrayed in a negative light. But it's like, how do you know what you look like unless you look in the mirror? She doesn't want anyone. She doesn't want any mirror. She doesn't want anything to call her on what she's looking like or what she's acting like or how it's appearing to other people. And in this situation, I just don't believe that Kandi, even though Kandi may not be her biggest fan, I don't believe that Kandi is trying to stop Nene from having anything. I don't believe that Kandi even has that type of power at Bravo to say, you know what, I know Nene Leakes may want to have a spinoff show, but don't give it to her. I don't believe that that's happening. I do believe that Kandi is about her money. Like she says, don't check for me unless you have a check for me. I believe that that is who she is through and through because she is all about business. But I don't believe that she's the type of person that tries to stop anyone from collecting theirs also. She's proven that over the years. She's given people opportunities. They may not have even deserved it. Even at the time when she had her play many years ago, she gave Portia the opportunity to have a role in her play. And I don't believe that Portia was the best fit for the role that she played, but I do believe that Kandi wanted to give her a hand up. And I also believe that's one of the reasons why Kandi was also so hurt by what Portia did and was like, I don't want to have anything to ever, do with her ever again. And so I am just not sure that Nene is looking at the fact that what she has to offer just may not be what Bravo is looking for in terms of a spinoff. And it's not that they don't like her, because they obviously do. They keep bringing her back every season, even though some people feel like it's, curtains for her. Her time is done. Bring in some new blood. But, she's shown herself to be less than humble over the years. And sometimes when you are less than humble, you can block your own blessings and you can be your own downfall. And so I don't believe that Kandi is the one that's stopping her from getting anything. I believe that she is her own worst enemy in this situation and that she's just playing the victim and she's not really the victim. It's her own doing. And that's what I believe. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think about it in the comments section. Do you feel that Nene is a victim in this situation, or is she just playing the victim in regards to her not getting that coveted multiple spin-off situation that she feels like Kandi has had? And do you feel that she was talking about Kandi, or was she talking about someone else? Of course, she said that she was not talking about Kandi, and if she was, she wouldn't have any problems, addressing her directly. But I'm sorry, I don't believe that she was not talking about Kandi. I do believe she was speaking about Kandi. And guys, you can tell sometimes when somebody say they aren't talking about you, but you can tell who they're talking about, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. So those are just my thoughts on it. So you guys let me know how you feel about it. This is the Minister of Beauty, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Being Beautifully Honest podcast. Thanks so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until the next episode, I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.